All right. Hello. I think we're working. Give me a minute. Just get everything set up and I will be on camera with you. Got to reload. All right. There we go. Hi. How are you all doing? Welcome to the weekly wrap-up live chat with viewer comments, theories, and more. I will be on camera in a minute. Just have people moving around and stuff in the house. So we will be there any minute. I'm just going to put this link out on Twitter. Let people know I'm live. Hi, Sunny. How are you doing? Where is my Twitters? All right. I should have done this before, but, you know. Live now to talk about the Daybell case. Sorry, I'm typing. I should have set this up before, but I didn't. Bear with me, and we'll get going. Chad Daybell case. All right, there we go. That has been tweeted. Okay, awesome. Hey, Stormy, how are you doing? Hi, Cherie. Andrew, how are you doing? Listen, Andrew, the only reason you don't have a wrench is because I don't have you in Discord. Right? I need all the mods to be in Discord so we can communicate. So if you get into the Discord channel, we'll get that all set up again. So that's the only reason. Please don't take anything personal about that. It wasn't. Hi, Denise. How are you doing? Miss Wee Lassie, good to see you. Cheryl Lynn, always a pleasure to see you. I like the sunshine emoji there. Oh, man. You know, it's been a rough week covering this case because there really hasn't been a lot of news. This week has been rumors and theories and, deep dives into other aspects of the case, but nothing new has happened. How do you get into Discord? I have a link for you to get into Discord somewhere. There we go. Okay, that is a link for the Discord. Hi, Jess. How are you? Maureen Walsh, nice to see you. Rachel Walters, good morning. Andrea Mom, I'm new to your channel. Glad to be here. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're here. Hi, Bridget. How are you doing? Bridget, I do have a podcast. I actually do. It's called Toxic Bliss. You can find it on Anchor, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, all over the place. Just look for Awen Reese Toxic Bliss and you'll find it. So, yeah, I do have a podcast. Anyway, good morning. Good morning. I am officially awake. It is noon here in Texas. Catnip, there you are. Catnip needs her wrench. I haven't seen her yet. There she is. Hi, Catnip. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, it's been a tough week covering the case because I want to give you the daily news updates, but there really hasn't been too much happening. So, with the last one that I put up yesterday, I just wanted to bring you all the research links of things that were being talked about. So, if you wanted to go look this stuff up, you would have links to go look it up for yourself. I'm trying to report on the case and give you the information as opposed to constantly giving you my spin on the case or my narrative because I think that does a disservice and that, I don't know, that's not what I want to do. So I'm going to try and keep bringing you all of the research information so we can get together here in live chat once we can talk about it and talk about what we all think. Because it's been an interesting run. Alistair, I'm glad you're listening to Toxic Bliss. Thank you. Rachel, hi. Zan Hippie. Zan Thippy. Hi, Zan. Oh, Annie from North Florida. Okay. Hi, Annie. That makes more sense than Xanth Hippie, because I wasn't sure how you wanted to say that. Hi, Marilyn, Carolyn, Margie, Kathy, Bobbin Wranglers. My name is Tess. Hi, Tess. Who are JJ's biological parents? Yes, Charles and Lori did adopt JJ. JJ is the biological son of Charles's nephew. So Charles is JJ's great uncle. And JJ, when he was born, did go to live with Kay and Larry Woodcock, but they weren't able to care for him and provide everything that he needed, so Charles and Lori adopted him. All right. Oh, Xanthippe was Socrates' wife. You'd think I would know that. Now I feel terrible that I didn't know that. Thank you for letting me know. I should go brush up on my Socrates history. Something new. Hi, Chatty Catty. How are you doing? Penny Sue. Hi there. There you are. Look at those pretty hearts. All right, I'm going to go on camera because I didn't do my makeup for nothing. All right, I think things are quiet here now. So hopefully my internet is going to be a little bit better. I've had trouble with the live streaming. Yep, see, it's laggy and pixely. I have 3 other people in the house. My son is currently streaming Disney Plus. My daughter has a Twitch stream going and Discord and her Switch. My husband has his computer on and his phone and a tablet. So me getting the lion's share of the bandwidth so I can have a nice clean stream, not working out so well. So I apologize for the blurry pixelness, but until I kick all these people out of the house and get my own internet line, unfortunately, we're gonna have to deal with this. So what do we want to talk about today? There is so much that I want to talk about. There's a lot of things that I don't really want to talk about in a public live stream, a lot of my own thoughts and opinions. So let's leave it to you guys. What do you guys want to talk about in relation to the case this week? And I'm going to try and read as many comments as I can. Hi, little Barb. How you doing? Why don't we start talking about the Annie Cushing deep dive into the interview that Lori gave with Gilbert Police Department, and she gave that with Melanie Gibb and Tylee in the room with her. Now, we've talked about that before, and my opinion on that was it really felt like the police were sort of urging Lori to get out of the police station quickly, because until they had the order from Charles that was ordering her to go for a psych eval, they couldn't hold her. And they just came out and told her that. They said, well, we can't hold you because we haven't seen that order yet. But once we see the order, then we'll have to hold you. You might want to go. They're really just saying that. And that bothered me a lot. And I talked about that in a couple of videos. Annie Cushing is now on this case, right? And I have a lot of links for you. Here's the first one. This is Annie Cushing's website. She started a dashboard, right? We're a searchable, interactive website where you can look up all the information that she's compiling, including transcripts of these interviews, all the citations, everything that you need. That is an amazing website. But she's come up with 9 instances in that interview where police either sort of urged Lori to leave or totally looked the other way of what she was saying. And in my opinion, that's almost negligence. What do you think? Because I think if they had really listened to what was happening, read between the lines a little bit with some of Lori's statements, verified the information, right? Where Tylee is talking about the text messages, and Tylee even asked Melanie, well, aren't the texts on your phone or something like that? I don't know the exact wording, but the police don't bother to check Melanie Gibb's phone. Why? Why would you not look at her phone? Why you just accept what these women are telling you without verifying any of it, right? So, and for them to be sitting there interviewing Lori, right, when they have talked to Charles on the phone in the middle of that interview, and he says, I have an order for a psych hold for her. Please don't let her go. They just blow that off and try to get Lori out of there. It's like, that's negligence to me, because if they had acted appropriately, what I think is appropriately, Charles might still be alive. And if Charles is still alive, the rest of them might be alive. Tammy, JJ, Tylee, even Alex, for whatever. But so that's a rough thing to look back at now. Let me catch up on the comments. Just watching part of the officer said, you don't seem a danger to yourself. But yeah, he did. The officer's like, well, you don't seem like you're a danger to yourself or others. And Lori laughs, ha ha ha, yeah. I wonder what he thinks now. Has his mind changed a little bit? You think law enforcement doesn't want another Casey Anthony, so taking their time? Oh, yeah. Andrew asked why Charles hasn't been charged yet. They need all the forensic evidence first. They need the autopsy reports completed and filed and all of that. And then I can guarantee you we will see more charges. So that's all. That's got to take time. They got to do it right. Conflicting stories Lori and Alex gave about murdering Charles. Yeah, exactly. Alex is there telling the police, oh, well, they were having a fight. And so then my sister left with the kids. And then, he came at me with the bat again. So I shot him. And Lori says, oh, no, we were there. Da 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 da. And if you're standing there as a police officer and two witnesses are giving you different stories, would you not look into that a little bit more? That's not a red flag. I think it is. So they ignored that. They also ignored the 911 calls that Charles made before Lori went to the police that night and the day before. You can see videos of that in East Idaho News where he's telling them, my wife is crazy. She's saying she's trying to kill me with her God powers. I'm worried for my son and our dog. And, please, there's kids involved. You got to help. They totally blew him off. Totally blew him off. So, yeah. And I think the Gilbert Police Department needs to have a day of reckoning about all that. Sheree says, I think the police were convinced by her pretty face and her ability to act like she's a level-headed one. Yep. I think they were too. Because you often hear about cases of women in abusive relationships. They probably had a hard time thinking this was the opposite case, where Charles was the one dealing with the crazy wife, not the other way around. So they just went on an assumption, and she was so pretty. But yeah, that assumption led to Charles's death. So I think that's on their hands. But that's my opinion about that. Let's see. Are the authorities going to deal with these LDS freaking police people? I don't know. I think, in one of the videos, we see Charles, who police are responding to his call about trying to get Lori picked up for the psych hold. He says, are you LDS? And the woman goes, yeah. And then he proceeds to tell her the story about how Lori thinks she was married to Moroni in a past life and has all these God powers. And you would think if she's LDS, she understands church doctrine and she would hear something like that and be alarmed by it. But she was like, oh, yeah, okay. Like, this is normal? Do they hear that a lot? If they do, we have a bigger problem, Paul. Hi, Paul. Thank you so much. Look at that. Oh, I got a super chat from Paul. Hi, hope you're having a good rest. I know Paul needs a nap, so if he's not in chat, Paul's been working crazy early in the morning. And man, that is not fun. Thank you, Paul. Liz says, I think Tylee was killed first, so she wouldn't be in the way of JJ getting killed. That's possible. I can't even start to think of their logic train of thought of how this all came about. Man, I think we're going to be surprised, but that is certainly possible, Liz. Alistair, I'm just spitballing here, but Charles was a former baseball player and could have easily knocked Alex out if he hit him. Oh, yeah, Alistair, I totally agree. I always call them Lay and Carrie Woodcock. I am so sorry. Kay and Larry Woodcock said in their interview, without a doubt, it was an ambush. I don't doubt that either. I do not think for a second there was an organic disagreement that sort of sprung up that morning and this happened. Oh, no. No, I don't believe that for a second. So yeah, I think Charles was ambushed. He went there to pick up JJ. They were waiting for him. Boom, there you go. And Lori and the kids, if they were in the house at the time, she puts JJ in the car and takes him to school? Really? Sorry, your dad's dead, but let's go to school? Oh, man, I can't think about that too hard or I'm going to just start spontaneously combusting over here. That's awful. The ex-cop is Jason Mow, sitting in his car down the street while the girls were in the interview. Yeah, Kathy, that's a bit of an odd thing. I did talk about Jason Mow a little. I've kind of avoided talking about him because, honestly, he's a scary dude. He really is. He's very militant. All the pictures he posts of himself are with his big guns and all this. And I know he's ex-cop. I know he's ex-military. But he's also one of these authors, right? Like Chad Daybell. He does podcasts. There's a link on Denise Rainey's channel, which I would give you in 1 second. Denise's channel. All right, if you go to this link, which I will drop, that is Denise Rainey's YouTube channel. She was in the process of uploading all of the podcasts that she had downloaded from Preparing a People, and she's got all of the files on her computer. She had managed to get a couple of them online, and one of them is Jason Mow with Melanie Gibb and others. And if you want to know what Jason Mow's about, go listen to that. I had a very hard time getting through it. I didn't make it all the way through because it's infuriating. But Jason Mow thinks he's Captain Moroni. There's a lot of pictures of him LARPing with his friends. It's live action role play where Dungeons and Dragons players usually get dressed up as dragons and wizards and sorcerers and go run around the woods playing their role-playing game live action. Apparently Jason Mow does that with his buddies in his Captain Moroni costume. Yeah. um, that's pretty funny. I'm sorry. Just thinking of that picture. Yeah, these are grown men. All right. So he thinks that's his role. He is the warrior to lead the 144,000 through the tribulations. But as such, he's very militantly minded. He has tons of weapons. He loves showing them off. He really thinks he's the warrior. He tells everyone else it's time to warrior up. And he promotes very dangerous extremist ideology. You can't say that in a nicer way. That is exactly what Jason Mow does. So, is he scary? Mm-hmm. Yep. Is he crazy? Yep. Absolutely. Is he involved in this case? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Melanie Gibb, now in the interview that we're talking about at Gilbert Police Station, Melanie Gibb, I don't know if she slipped or if she was name dropping or if she was trying to intimidate this cop or what she was doing, but she says, well, I pulled over and who was that in front of me? I just couldn't believe it. It was Jason. Like, I think that's Jason. Wow, that's really Jason Mow. What was he doing there? Really? You expect anyone to believe it was a coincidence that Jason Mow just happened to be parked there where you pulled up randomly? Mm-mm. Oh, no. I think Jason Mow is in it up to his eyeballs, although he's kept a much lower profile than some of these other people about his active involvement with things. So I think eventually we're going to hear a lot more about him. So there are some research links to Jason Mow's website, the podcast on Denise's page, all of that in my video from yesterday. So check out the description. Actually, I think I copied the description from yesterday's video in this description. So just look in the description below. You should find all that stuff. Let me check, but I'm pretty sure I did that. Yes, I did. Links are for Annie Cushing's dashboard website. Really good research link to have. Annie Cushing also did a timeline of events, which is probably the best one you're going to find. There's a link to the East Idaho's news video about this interview. You can watch the whole thing. There's 2 parts. Jason Mow's website, Jason Mow's YouTube video promoting his book. It's kind of funny. And the link to the interview on Denise's website. Hold on, I have to cough. Let me mute this microphone. All right, there we go. All right, back to comments. Let's see. I listened to that and it scared me. Plus, Melanie Gibb sounded very confident, not innocent. Yep. Definitely. Maureen Walsh says, where Charles was killed, Lori's house was gated. Sure, I heard that front somewhere. They must have a camera at the gate. It doesn't look gated in the video, unless like the whole, maybe it was a cul-de-sac that was gated, but her house was not gated. You see the officers and the fire truck and police just pull right up front. So I don't know. Let's see. Do you think it's possible the cops are part of the cult or maybe scared of them? Nina, I don't ever want to let myself think that police officers would be willingly and intentionally involved in stuff like this. But we do have to understand that these areas where they lived, Rexburg, where they lived in Utah, where they lived in Arizona, there are very strong groups of people in this religion. So it's possible that they were at least sympathetic to the religion or at least understood it. But understanding a religion and being a religious person is still, if somebody tells you they're trying to kill me with their God powers, that should raise some pretty big red flags and make you want to look into things, but it didn't. So, those are some questions we're going to have to ask. Vicky says, hi, Awen, I'm a new sub and I'm loving your channel and your honesty. I was wondering, do you know where I can watch the Melanie Gibb interview on Dateline? If you're in the UK, apparently people in the UK cannot watch the Dateline episode on the Dateline website. Anything but the Dateline website probably is not the most legal recommendation I can give you. I don't know, try Hulu maybe, Amazon Prime. I don't know if any of those services will work in the UK. I have no idea how that works. But you may find some clips of it that people have uploaded to YouTube, things like that. Unfortunately, I don't have an official link that will work in the UK. I'm very sorry. We do have a lot of reviews on it, though, so you can listen to those. The LDS stick together very tightly. Yes, that is true. Janet says, I understood that Tylee inherited from her father when she turned 17. She disappeared right before her birthday. Lori had access to Tylee's accounts. Janet, that's another thing that is not a fact yet. Even Annie Cushing, Tylee's aunt, says she doesn't know if that's true or not. All right, the stories about Tylee's emancipation and Tylee's inheritance, the trust fund, all of that is not factually known. A lot of it is assumed. So yeah, for that information, I would refer you to Annie Cushing. You can find her on Facebook. You can find her on Twitter. Links are in the description. So follow Annie Cushing on that. If anyone would know, she'd probably have the best information there. So can someone please provide the link to watch? Miss Clutterbug, if you're talking about the Dateline, just go to Dateline NBC website and you can watch it there. Unless you're in the UK, in which case that's not going to work. Sorry. Expat Mara, that guy in chat, that is my husband. Hi, husband. You're not in Cumbria. You're in Texas. He's from Cumbria. He's not there now. If he is, he got there real quick because he was just in here with me. Betty Spaghetti. Hi, Betty Spaghetti. How are you doing? People of common belief stick together. It's human nature. Yep. However, as Ellie, it was their duty to the very least protect those kids if they didn't. Yep. Yeah, I think they were just smitten by Lori. She has a very powerful way of coming across as the innocent, level-headed type, and clearly she was not. But they just fell for her appearance and pretty much ignored all the words. So, Donna, I still feel so bad for Charles. He was let down so many times. Yeah, I feel really, really bad for Charles because he knew it was coming. Right? He knew that Lori wanted to kill him. She told him. And he did everything that you're supposed to do correctly in that situation. He filed for divorce. He contacted the police. He had the locks changed. He did everything he could. And he pretty much begged the police to go pick her up for the psych hold. And they just wouldn't do it. What more was he supposed to have done? You know, there's nothing else he could have done other than go on the offensive, which you never want to do. So that's a tragedy and a failure of epic proportions that Charles is dead. And even, the whole thing about the purse. One thing that when Lori went to the police in Gilbert, what she said was, he stole my purse and my phone out of my car. So I want my purse back. Now, he didn't really steal. I mean, he did technically go into her vehicle and remove her purse and phone. So technically he did steal her purse. However, he did that because he was trying to force Lori to interact with him so she could go for the cycle. And we hear in the interview that the point of that was for him to say, go to the therapist for your evaluation and I will bring you your purse there. Right? He's trying to get her to go be seen by a psychiatrist to get the evaluation. And he's using her purse as sort of leverage. Go do this and I'll give you your purse back. So maybe he shouldn't have taken the purse, but at the same time, I can see why he did. Nothing else was working. And certainly Lori, having stole the $35,000 out of his bank account, she needed her purse and her credit cards and her phone. So, it was effective. Unfortunately, the police just dropped the ball. So yeah, the whole Charles thing is just, it's a nightmare, truly a nightmare. You can see a full interview in, yes, East Idaho News. Yeah, the Dateline episode you might not be able to see on YouTube, but if you go to East Idaho News, actually, I'm just going to give you a link. How about I give you a link to East Idaho News? No, don't do that. All right, here's a link to the East Idaho News YouTube page. That's a particular video, but from there, just go to their main page. They have a whole playlist of videos about this case, and they have some really, really good interviews that you can only see there. A lot of good information. They have interviews with someone who was involved in the LDS church and then got into the prepper side of things and her experiences dealing with PTSD as a result of being with these people, including Chad. that was a pretty powerful interview. They have an interview with Suzanne Freeman, who was Chad's first published author, because Chad had his own publishing company. And this was the first book that he published, I think, was her books. So she has a lot to say about Chad. Interviews with Melanie Gibb, an 1.5 hour long interview that Nate did with Melanie before she went on Dateline. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff there. Absolutely. And of course, all of the body cam videos with Lori at the police department, body cam videos of Charles reporting Lori, the 911 calls that Charles made while Lori was at the police department. Yeah, if you want to brush up on all that stuff, East Idaho News is the place to go. Hi, Gulf Coast Girl. Nice to see you today. Hi, Kathy Sharp. Gulf Coast Girl says, I found it interesting that in a police interview, the cop said to Lori, do you want to put a restraining order on Charles? Yeah. After all this, yeah, those. Now, one of the officers in that interview said, oh, he's new. He just graduated the academy or something. So he's very much a rookie. And he's just sitting there giggling with them and laughing and cracking jokes while they wait for the other officer to come back. I gotta wonder what he's feeling right now. I bet he feels pretty bad. I bet he feels pretty stupid. I bet he feels really guilty, knowing that he's sitting there right across from Tylee. He was within arm's reach of Tylee, and he overlooked all the red flags, and now she's dead. He's got to have that on his conscience, and that's awful, but at the same time, hopefully he'll never do that again, Betty Spaghetti says, there's no way for poor Charles not to have been lured into his murder. He did love those kids. He loved those kids very much, and he was going there to that house that day to get JJ. And even when Lori went to Hawaii, she left JJ behind. She left JJ with Charles. Charles said several times that she didn't want any part of him. Also, an interview you might not have seen on East Idaho News, Nate is talking to an old friend of Charles who, for some reason, missed a lot of text messages from Charles, but read them after Charles had already died. And in those text messages, Charles says a lot of things about Lori not wanting JJ, wanting to get rid of him, about, just all that kind of stuff. So that's another good video to take a look at. It just shows how far Charles went to try and get help, and how nobody listened. Nobody listened. So Charles really handled getting Lori evaluated the way the system. Yeah, he did. He handled it perfectly. He did everything he was supposed to do, and they didn't help. Such a failure by the police, says Sharon. I agree. Yeah, the police, Sharon's talking about how they didn't really deal with Alex after Charles was shot. That's a big problem. The whole thing is a big problem. It's almost like they just wanted it to go away quick, because they knew if they looked at Alex possibly as having murdered Charles, they're going to have to own up to the fact. Or that was Chandler PD. Chandler Gibble, 2 different police departments, I think. Now I'm all confused. I'm sure you'll hash that out in the comments. But whether these are 2 different police departments or one, they all just totally dropped the ball. Chad or Alex and Lori were not really investigated in regards to Charles's death. They just took it on face value, the whole self-defense story. They didn't really check anything. Alex was sitting there on the curb, patting the back of his head with a little paper towel or something. Oh, he hit me. They didn't. Are there images of that wound? Does anybody see that? Did they actually look to see if Charles had hit him with a bat? I don't think so. It's not that I've seen. It's possible, but they just did not look into it. They just let it go. Did Lori really call JJ her drug baby? I don't know if she did. I don't know. The video about Charles's text. You know what? Let me find it. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to turn my camera off for a second while I'm looking. Let me find you that video. It's actually a really good video. Give me a sec here. Yeah, it was a neighbor or friend of Charles, who said that after Charles had died, he had checked his phone. And on that phone, he found a bunch of text messages that Charles had sent before he died that he missed. And then he read them after Charles had died. And they were very powerful messages. So let me see. Let's go through their playlist and find the link to it. People in Hawaii, prosecutor missing kids, grandmother, Kay Woodcock, Lori Daybell, storage unit, Dr. Oz show, dear. Look at the religious circle. Appears in Hawaii. Val, Chadley's Court, Daybell Lands. All right, come on. Where is this video? I just watched it yesterday, so I know it's here somewhere. Grandparents, chat with police, new program. Melanie Gibb. I have seen so much of Melanie Gibb. I don't ever want to see another video about Melanie Gibb. Thank you very much. Author, Chad Daybell in custody, Kayla Vigil, Chase Justice. All right, I'm not seeing this video in their playlist. Let me look through my history because I literally watched it yesterday, so it's here somewhere. Let me check on chat for a minute. Hi, sorry. Oh, hi, Bipolar Princess. How are you doing? Hi, Observation. Hi, Carrie, Andrea, Mom. I said hi to you. Hi, Sister Ruse. How are you? I haven't seen you in a while. Hi, Kika. Nice to see you. Kavita Diva. All right, I'm going to look through my history, so bear with me here, see if I can find this video, because it was really good. Unless I dreamt it. I did not dream it. Has anyone else seen this video? Did I really have a dream? No, I know I saw it. It might not have been East Idaho News. Maybe it was Dateline. That could be. Let's see. Lori Vallow in the Gilbert Police Station. Yep. I really should have had this link ready to go, but I was not thinking. Oh, look at all these Shane Dawson. Yeah, I watched a lot of Shane Dawson videos yesterday. That's a whole nother crazy mess. Elizabeth Claire Prophet. All right, now I don't even see it here. How could... All right. I'm going to have to say maybe I was dreaming this. I know I saw that. Anyone in chat, can you verify that this video exists? I know it does. You know, let me just search Charles Vallow. Bodycam. Late husband's warning to police. 911 call. Charles Vallow feared for his life. Is it in that one? I don't think so. I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking and I don't see. I'm looking for videos that I've actually seen, because obviously if I watched it. A lot of body cam footage. Questions for doomsday parents. No, that's not it. Huh. All right, I'm going to have to do some digging and find out where the heck I saw this video. Maybe it was taken down. I don't know if it was. I just watched it yesterday. Huh. Yeah, I thought it was East Idaho News on YouTube. I know, it's an interview. It may be Keith Morrison. Maybe it's Keith Morrison. I'm confusing it with Nate Eaton. One of those two, Nate or Keith, was interviewing an older gentleman who said that he was a friend. It might have been on the Dateline episode. That could be. Maybe it was a clip from the first Dateline episode. Actually, that kind of makes sense. The interview they did with Charles. No, there was an interview with Keith or Nate. Now I'm thinking Keith Morrison, probably on Dateline, with a friend of Charles who had mixed a lot of text messages and read them after Charles had died. And they showed them on the screen. Things that Charles said. All right, somebody else has seen it. Thank goodness I'm not crazy. I didn't dream this. But yeah, now I'm starting to think it's the first Dateline video. Let's look that. Charles Vallow, Dateline text. You can find that. Let's see. No, I don't see that either. There's some with Colby. All right, we will find it. I will find this and I will get the link for you, because it's got to be in my viewed. So it could have been Dateline. Gulf Coast Girl. Alex says he fired twice at Charles, and Annie has the body cam video of police and one officer saying he sees 4 shells. Yep. There's a lot of discrepancies in that investigation. So, your kidlets were abducted by your mother-in-law. Oh, careful how you say that on a true crime channel, Stormy. We might take that the wrong way. Oh. We're not a dream. I saw that too. However, I don't remember who posted. Okay, Andrea, Mom, I will dig that up. I'm really starting to think that was the first Dateline episode about Where Are the Children, which aired in January, I think. I'm not sure, but I believe it might have been on that first video. So I will go back and watch that. I will get clips of it. I will get screenshots, and we'll go from there. Because I don't like forgetting what happened. My goodness. Charles was murdered in cold blood, and the police not only allowed it, but were a huge part in the reason the children died. I agree. And that's one of the hardest parts about this case for me, Betty, is that there are 100 different points of time on the timeline where all of the events could have been stopped by many different people, and nobody stopped any of it. Charles's death, even Joseph Ryan, we got to talk about Joseph Ryan too. I believe that he was Lori's first victim. What do you guys think? And again, that is pure opinion and speculation. There's no proof of that. But that was long before she met Chad. So is that when her murderous rampage started? Was with Joseph Ryan, and then just got worse as she went on? That's what I think. I don't think it's a coincidence that she has a pile of dead husbands behind her. And I think money is her primary motive. So hopefully they will look into that. Remember, Lori Vallow is still very much alive and in custody. They can find out. And I hope they do. So yeah, Joe Ryan was her first, and that's part of the reason why I just adore Annie Cushing to pieces. That's Joseph's sister, and since his death, she's had questions and she wants answers, and it's about time she got them. So, grilling with Jay, probably a dead cat or two. Y'all, they did find a dead cat and dog in Chad's yard. So goodness knows what Lori's got in her yards. But Joseph's reported cause of death, I believe it was a heart attack. I believe. I think so. I will double check. I don't have all these facts on the tip of my brain because there's too many of them. You can follow Annie Cushing on Twitter. The link is in the description of this video. You can follow her in the Facebook group, True Crime Underground. This is the only Facebook group that I follow. All right. I don't like Facebook groups. In fact, I generally run away from them screaming and crying. This one, though, whoops, no, what are you doing? Paste, I said paste. There we go. There's a link to True Crime Underground. All Facebook groups have their little shares of drama here and there, but this one is run very well. It's a really good group, and it's the only one I would recommend to you. So, take that with a grain of salt because that's just my opinion. But Annie Cushing posts there prolifically. Please understand that many of her posts, she says, are not to be shared publicly. All right, so if you go there, don't start screenshotting stuff and plastering all over the internet because we need to be respectful for her. I did have information from her yesterday in my video, but those were things that she posted publicly on Twitter, on the website, things like that. So there you go. Okay. So at least let's just be respectful for Annie because, this is her family. She's lost her brother. She's lost her niece. She's lost JJ. JJ may not have been a blood relative, but that was still her nephew, in just the big family scheme of things. So, that's terrible. Kathy says, me too, after Shanann in the group. So yeah, we can't even start that topic because, I will lose my mind. I'm trying very hard to keep my cool as it is today. I woke up in a very stabby kind of mood, so even doing a live stream is a little dangerous. But yeah, that's one reason that I can't handle the Facebook groups. I also cannot handle the rumor mongering. I can't. If something isn't true, then say, I think, or I believe, or maybe, but you can't state it as a fact. And that's what all these Facebook groups do. And that drives me a little crazy. Yeah, Stabity. And that's why expat Mara, my husband, is outside right now watching on his phone. It's like, she's Stabity, I'm going outside. I love you, honey. Oh. Let's see, Joseph. Yeah, they didn't find Joseph's body right away. That's a very hard story to talk about, and I guess I'll do probably a background video on it with Annie Cushing's blessing first, because I will ask her first. But yeah, look up the story of Joseph Ryan's death, and just the callousness with which Lori approached the whole mess. It's terrible. It is really, really terrible. And similarly with Charles's death, remember what happened. What we know from the actual interviews and documents is that when Charles died, later that day, Lori had a pool party, and it was loud enough that the owner of the property, her landlord, got calls from neighbors complaining about this pool party. And that's what the landlord has said in an interview. And then it wasn't until the next day that Lori sent text to Charles's kids saying, "Oh, well, your father's dead. Sorry. Bye." Really cold text, just saying, "Oh, your dad's dead. Gotta go." Like, are you kidding me? So yeah, Lori is not a warm, fuzzy person at all. Yeah, straight up psychopath. I have to agree with that. I can't handle all the questions on the GoFundMe of Colby. All the questions. Oh, Will's, that's what the internet does. That's what the internet does. They look at everything with an incredibly jaded point of view and suspicion and pointing fingers. If Colby Ryan needs a GoFundMe, he can have a GoFundMe. If you don't like it, don't donate to it. That's it. You don't need to drag the guy through the mud because his mother-in-law set up a GoFundMe for him. The guy has lost his father, his adopted father, his brother, his sister. Now his mother's in jail for it. He's lost a step. I mean, how many people has Colby Ryan lost in his life? Leave Colby alone. Okay? Leave him alone. Yeah, he lost his whole family. He is remarried and he has a baby and he's trying really hard to build a life. The least we can do is leave him alone and let him do this. He didn't do this. He wasn't living with Lori at the time. He was not living with JJ and Tylee. He was away doing his own life. He's not responsible for this. Okay. So yeah, I will defend the family members like that. I will slag off Summer Cox till the cows come home, though. You want to talk about that side of the family? Let's talk about them. My goodness. I swear, you guys saw Paul and I on the live stream. Paul and I are pulling our hair out over some of these family statements. Oh, goodness gracious. These people, tone deafness is an understatement with them. So, his mom is the blonde Charles Manson. Yeah, Andrew, I agree with you. That's a pretty close call. But yeah, if you want to know more about Colby does have a YouTube channel. Let me find it for you, get you a link, where he has put out videos. He's even called publicly on TV for Lori to work with authorities and let them know where the kids are, So I don't think anyone should be having a go at Colby. All right, that link right there, that is a link to Colby's YouTube channel, so you can go check up on him. Oh yeah, I'll turn the webcam back on. 1 minute, I'm doing a bad thing. When that's done, I'll turn it back on. Yeah. The Cox family is something else. Yes, they are. There are several members of the Cox family, though, that have stood out and really spoken truth. Adam Cox, Zach Cox. Would be Lori's nephew, Lori's brother's son, Zach. He's on Twitter. I've talked about him in a video or two. I really like him. I've been following him on social media. I like his posts. Aside from stuff about the case, he just seems like he's got a really good head on his shoulders. I like him. And he's come out. He called Melanie Gibb straight up. He called her a liar. He does not pull any punches. Zach will tell you what he thinks. So, yeah. So some of the Cox family are okay. The rest of them, though, Alex Cox, Summer, Janice, Barry, there's some problems in that people. In that family, there are some big problems. There is Janice and Summer went on an interview, and boy, those are people who first should probably not be on TV, and they were kind of even gloating. They had a gloating attitude, very smug, very, superiority complex kind of attitude, saying Lori would never hurt her kids. Of course the kids are safe. Janice lied and said she talked to JJ on October 1st. Obviously she didn't, so whether she was just wrong about the date or confused or something, but that was not true. But they spoke it as if it were truth, so yeah, I don't have a lot of use for Summer and Janice Cox. I really don't. Does Colby's child have some type of disability? I believe Colby's child has an illness. I'm not sure what that nature of it is, but they've had a lot of medical bills. All right, and I know that Lori had been sending him money through an app on Tylee's phone to help with medical bills and things. So I don't know the nature of it. I'm not looking into that. I don't think, that's any of my business to look at. But yes, his child, they have some needs. Remember, both of his cars were taken. One was impounded and one was repossessed because Lori stopped paying for it. So, I mean, the poor guy's trying to live his life, and, he's lost just about everything he could lose. So I hope he manages to stay safe and build a wonderful life for his wife and his child. And I hope he has all the blessings in the world. If people want to send him money on GoFundMe, go for it. I'm not going to, say anything about that. Other than if you don't like it, don't do it. Pretty simple. Let's see. There's are as useless as a screen door in a submarine. Yeah. Or as useful. Yeah. Jess, as always, with the punchy one-liners. That is very true. Summer can put her apology. Betty, I have a video on it, and Paul and I did a live on it where I read the whole thing. I think I read it, or at least put it up on the screen. I probably have a link to it in the description of that video. I don't have it handy, but I can try and look it up for you and at least put it in a comment in this video. If I'm wrong, I say it. I didn't get all right with Melanie G. I figured out something in the past few days, and oh my heck, oh, interesting. All right, fine. Fine, Charlie Hunt, you win. I'll turn the camera back on. All right, there we go. Hi. Yeah. So, I only wish the best for Colby. Me too. Denise says, none of these people cry. That's true. What gets me the most, Melanie Gibb, when you watch her interviews with Nate and the one on Dateline, she's acting. She's just acting. She's playing the meek, oh, I didn't understand sort of weird attitude, but it's not true. She knew everything. There is not a doubt in my mind that Melanie Gibb knew every single thing. She knew that they thought Charles was a zombie and he ended up dead. She was surprised that they shot him, but they thought they would just pray over him and he would just die. That's a problem. Melanie Gibb has some very problematic thinking, and I don't think she realizes how problematic her own thinking is yet. But hopefully one day she will. My internet, expat Mara, you need to get the kids off the internet so I can not be blurry for 5 minutes. Everyone's going to think I look blurry. You see me in real life, they'd never recognize me because I'm not blurry. Melanie Gibb wants to be a leader so bad. Absolutely. Yep. Charlie, Melanie Gibb knew what zombies were and what happens to them. Yes, she did. And the second that Lori told her Tylee was a zombie, she should have run screaming to the police, but she didn't. She let it happen. Either she believed it wholeheartedly and really thought that the only way to save Tylee was to let her be killed to free her spirit from limbo because she was a zombie. Either she believed that 100%, or she's just completely not the brightest crayon in the box or something. But she let it happen. and then she let JJ die, and then she let Tammy die, and then she let Alex die. In that order. Tylee, JJ, Alex, Tammy. Tammy, Alex, sorry. In that order, and then I get it wrong. Go figure. But yeah, she let everybody die. Now, regardless of what we think about Alex and all that other stuff, he's dead, and I'm pretty sure that was an avoidable death. I think that was purposeful. So, although the autopsy reports did come back and say natural causes, do you believe that? I don't believe that at all. These are not the sharpest knives in the drawer. That's for sure. Melanie had problematic thinking. Yep. But she had nothing the police would listen to. My friend said her kids are zombies and they pray for the deaths. Well, if she had told them that after the first zombie died, they thought her husband was a zombie and they killed him. And now she thinks her kid is a zombie. Somebody. I would have been screaming bloody murder at the police station if my friend told me they thought their child was a zombie after they had killed her husband for being a zombie. I don't care what anybody's belief system is. To me, that would trigger an immediate response, and I would not stop yelling until something happened, because, that's just what you do. Wouldn't you do that? Wouldn't any of us do that in a normal situation? So I do place a lot of blame on Melanie Gibb and possibly even Melanie Pulowski. That's another one. So, let me check on some comments. I haven't been reading them. Do you think Melanie, Julie, Lori, and Melanie are all wives of Daybell? Yep, I'm pretty sure that he told them all. They were his wives in past lives. And Captain Moroni married them all together. Yep, quite possibly. Yeah, we do need to do a big, deeper dive on Jason Mow. He's very, very involved, both in their weird, dogmatic teachings, as well as the physical events. He shows up in places he shouldn't be. So we're going to have to look at that. Look what was going to the police report, Charles. So disturbing. Yep, he was screaming for the rooftops, and they totally ignored him. She would have told Ellie after Charles was killed. Yeah, if she could have gone to them and said, hey, this person they thought they was a zombie already ended up dead. We can't let this happen to the kids. Please do something. So, was Melanie G maybe scared that they'd come for her? Yeah, but when it comes to your friend's kids, that's a risk you're going to take, isn't it? Well, most people would. I would. Poor Tylee, I feel like she knew she was in danger. Yeah, Betty, she seemed to at least understand that her mom thought people were zombies and was like, oh dear. I'm not sure if she really got what was going to happen. I hope not. Husband was already in self-defense. Police have not been responsive to anything, any of the reporting. Yeah. Cherie says, I think their religion seems not to value life the same way we do. They talk about these probations and such, so death isn't so bad. Yeah. If you believe the way they talk, Chad and Lori, I'm not talking about Mormons, I'm talking about Chad and Lori, the way they believed about multiple lives, multiple probations, and all of that, to them, death is just another doorway we walk through. Not a big deal. So, it takes some very strange psychopathology to get to a place where you can kill your kids and then go on vacation to Hawaii and get married and dance in a pretty white dress and flowers. And you got to be a strange person to be able to do that. A very sick person. So let's see. Police had a different take on Charles's death. Already decided zombie wouldn't have meant a thing to them. Baseball bat cell. Yeah, of course they had that idea. But there's a time where you have to try and make the police see reason. They get ideas in their head and they run with them. But Melanie had a duty to warn them and try and protect JJ and Tylee. But her beliefs were more, she believed she was doing the right thing by letting them kill them. There's no apology that's going to make up for that, Melanie Gibbs. You can stop trying. Hopefully she'll stop with the interviews and the letters. The letter she posted on Avow, my goodness. Oh, I can't with these people. They use their religious beliefs to manipulate everyone. Yes, they did. Carol asks, what did Tylee think the day that Charles was killed? He was her father for 13 years. That's a tricky question. I mean, certainly we'll never know the answer to that. But when you look at the video of Lori at the police station with Melanie and Tylee, Tylee seems to be backing up her mother's story. Although she does call her out once in a while because Lori will say, oh, well, this happened. And Tylee will give a gentle correction, But it does seem in general that Tylee either believed what Lori was saying or didn't like Charles or something. So we don't know for sure, and we'll never know for sure. But, you know what it's like to be raised by a narcissistic parent, or maybe you don't. I shouldn't say that. Some people do, and it's not pretty. So I'm sure Tylee was a very confused girl. Unfortunately, they believed Brandon after his attack on his life. Yes, they did. Yep. Of course, he had a bullet hole in his car, which helped them believe it too, but he did identify the Jeep as the one that Charles had owned before he died. So, and that's actually still under investigation. That is still pending. Maybe something will come of that. That would be interesting. Let's see. Melanie Gibb knows enough and didn't act on what she knew. Oh, that scrolled too fast. Sorry. It was slow down chat. Let's see. Do you think that there are followers of Chad and Lori that may possibly be looking at their own family members as zombies? Yeah, I do. Absolutely. Gulf Coast Girl, one thing that I've discovered through my trips through the Avow forums and other places like that is that Chad and Lori are not unique to this system of beliefs, or it's not unique to them. There are a lot of people, all right? Julie Rowe is a big problem. She has a fairly large following, fairly large, and she's messed up a lot of people's lives. Does she believe in zombies? She believes in invisible, energetic, poison spirit weapons, so zombies isn't a big stretch from there, Yeah, there's a lot of people with these crazy thoughts. It's not just Chad and Lori. And that's one of the scariest things that we've learned from this case, is there are a lot of people who think this way. Yeah, Betty, don't say her name 3 times or I'll curse. Yeah. What would happen to the camera if you say Julie Rowe 3 times real fast? Let's not try it. Let's not try that. That's just scary. Oh, but yeah, there are plenty. Paula Harris says, my hair looks pretty today. Thank you. I was very unhappy with my hair today. But if you think it looks good, then yay. Thank you. You watched Julie Rowe last night. She is crazy. Now, all right, I have a link I'm going to share with you. This is, where did I put this link? Let me find it, put it in Discord. All right, this is a website. Now, this is a blog called LDS Truth Matters, okay? I don't know who writes it. I can't verify it. I can't tell you it's true. I can't authenticate it as a good source of information. But it's a very interesting look at Julie Rowe. So if you want to bookmark that and have a read of it later, it's very interesting. It's some people writing into the author of this blog, telling them their experiences with Julie Rowe. So I was a little shocked by it. All right. So I don't know if, how good of a news source. It could be completely just baloney, but have a read. It's something. Certainly what we have seen of her in her own videos and her own statements make me think the information in that post is quite accurate. So yeah, there you go. It's something to look into. Yeah, you have the Julie Rowe still running around. You have Jason Mow running around. You have Hector Sosa. He's another one of these authors. He's in the Preparing a People group of crazy things. He's running around. And these people are pushing very similar beliefs that Chad and Lori were. This is not just these 2 people. And I really hope that law enforcement will be looking at that. I really hope they will, because there could be whole other groups with similar stories, with strings of dead bodies that they haven't connected yet. Is that possible? I don't know. I'm just, saying that. I'm theorizing. But if 2 people with these crazy beliefs can have 6 dead bodies behind them, then if you have 1,000 people with these crazy beliefs, what are we not seeing? There's probably something else there. Kika says Hector threatened another YouTuber talking about. Oh, did he? Yeah. See, they're crazy. They're crazy. All of them are crazy. This is why I didn't want to talk about Jason Mow, because he's scary. Am I a chicken? Well, no, I'm not chicken, but I'm not stupid either. I have a family that I love and I want to protect. I don't need Jason Mow looking in my direction. I think law enforcement needs to be looking in his direction, though. Hello. Let's hope so. Oh. Let's see. I truly believe that everyone that's dead and a murder victim of Lori's needs for money and change. Yep, lots of money and freedom. Lori wanted her freedom to do what she wanted without the responsibility of being a parent and a wife and all this stuff. Recently saw an interview with Julie Rowe and Nancy Grace. Yeah, Marilyn. Yep. Remember, just days before that interview, Julie Rowe was singing Chad's praises like he was the next Messiah and he was the most wonderful being that ever walked this earth. And oh, Chad, Chad, Chad. And then they find the kids in his yard and she goes, oh, he was a sexual predator. He's this, he's awful. I'm like, really? And the fact that Nancy Grace would even give Julie Rowe airtime with this craziness is, I don't see a lot of credibility in that source, to be honest. That's just me. I'm coming for you, Nancy Grace. Yeah, accountability. Freedom comes with responsibility. Yes, it does. If she hadn't been caught, I wonder how long Chad would have been alive. I'm not sure Chad would have been her target. I'm not sure. What would they have done for more money? When all of their direct links to life insurance policies had been exhausted, what would they have done next? That's a good question. Carol says Nancy Grace was acting like Julie Rowe was credible. Yeah, that's a problem. You think something so? That's possible. So when the world doesn't end in July, I wonder if they have another plan. Well, all right. This is an interest. This is something I've been going into a deep dive on for a Patreon video because it's a little too controversial to cover the whole thing here. But when we look at end time cults, right? These have been around for 2,000 years now. This is not a new thing. End time cults have always been around, and they probably always will be, right? Thanks to some things in the Bible that people really believe. When we look at Chad and Lori and their end times thing, similarly with every other end times cult, they end one of two ways. Either their big date comes and goes, and people kind of drift away, or they start a new little cult, and they pick a new date, and they keep going. And then that one comes and goes, fades away. 1844, the Great Disappointment. This is where a lot of this stuff started really taking root in the United States. So I can get into all of that in the other video. But other cults we have like Heaven's Gate, Jim Jones and Jonestown. Those types of end time cults, they actually end, but it has nothing to do with their prophecy date. So what's going to happen to Chad and Lori? Because of who they are, their specific personality types, I would guess that they're just going to go quietly into the night, right? I'm sure one of Chad's followers will come up with a new date, and that will start a whole new offshoot, and that date will come and go, and start a whole new offshoot, and so on and so forth, till the actual end days, if they ever occur. Oh, they seem very obsessed about Moroni. I heard that some LDS churches have removed any statues. I can't imagine the Mormon church removing statues of Moroni. He is central to their entire thing. And he's on the top of all of their temples and things. When you look at the Mormon temple and you look at the spires, one of the 5 spires, always at the very highest one, has the statue of Moroni with his horn. I think that's Moroni. If that's not Moroni, please correct me, because I read that it was Moroni. I can't imagine them removing that he is a central figure in their mythology. So, and I say mythology in the nicest possible way. Don't come for me. It's the proper grammatical term to describe a series of religious characters and a belief system. I have to be so careful what I say about Mormonism. Whew. But yes, Moroni. Thank you. That is Moroni. See, I thought it was Gabriel at first too, but on Mormon churches, it's Moroni, I believe. Because even Charles says something, doesn't he, about Moroni dropping his horn? Or something. Where did I hear that? Ooh, somebody talks about the statue of Moroni dropping his horn as a sign of the end times or something. I have no idea where that's from. There's so much information in my brain about this case that it's all just kind of like spaghetti now. So maybe, does that mean I'm a Pastafarian? Possibly. I may have to go there. Um, yeah, Moroni is, remember, when you talk about the story of Mormonism, Moroni is the angel that appeared to Joseph Smith, that led him to the golden plates, that led to the translation of the Book of Mormon, that led to the entire Mormon church. So without Moroni, there's no Mormon church. So I cannot imagine the Mormon church separating themselves from Moroni. That would just be, that would be cuckoo. Then again, we've seen some cuckoo things, so could happen. Yeah. Anyway, they can do anything in Mormonism because it was created, and they can change their benefits to fit them. Off-duty beauty, that's true for any religion. Tell me a religion where that's not true. And that's something that is hard to talk about, because people definitely do not like hearing that. But every religion has its creation story. And I don't mean creation of the world or the universe. I mean the creation of the religion. How did that religion come to be? And they all have their stories like that. So, hi, Tracy. How are you doing? Originally, his name was not Moroni, but that's another story. Carrie, I want to hear that story, so I'm going to dig into that. That's good. I thought the statue on top of the temple looked like a guy blowing a funnel. I believe it's a trumpet. Yeah. That's him. Korihor, in their version of the Antichrist, we look at it, he was an atheist that got cursed by them. Yeah. I haven't read that story yet, because I was still kind of working my way through the Book of Mormon, but honestly, it's been a little challenging, a little tricky to get through, but but Melanie Gibb and the Korihor thing, I am never going to forget that, when she says, and I called them, and I talked to them because what if they were murderers, and I called them Korihor. And the way she says it to the camera is just like, she is so dang proud of herself for being brave enough to call Chad and Lori a Korihor. Like she did the biggest badass thing she could ever think of, and that was it. And I'm like, yeah, you go, girl. Yeah, that's Melanie Gibb. I gotta go to the Book of Mormon stuff. Yeah, I remember my mom was Mormon when I was very little, and she's read it, and I have been in a lot of talks with her about this stuff. She's not Mormon anymore. She wasn't for most of her life. She was in the church maybe 8 years or so. So yeah, I've been picking her brain like crazy. I have been reading The Pearl of Great Price, which is one of the standard books of scripture in the Mormon thing. And my phone is going off. I gotta turn the sound off because it's making noise. There we go. So yeah, I have been doing a whole deep dive into traditional Mormonism, the history, its doctrines, reading some of the scriptures, the books, because I want to understand. I want to understand what system of beliefs produced Chad and Lori. Now, I'm not saying all Mormons are crazy. I'm not saying that. Do not come for me. I'm not saying that all Mormons will eventually end up in a cult. No, but I want to understand the roots of Chad and Lori's thinking. They were both very devout Mormons. Their whole families are Mormon. Chad's kids are Mormon. Charles was Mormon. The Cox family, I believe, is Mormon. They're all Mormons. So if all of these Mormon families, so devout, produced Chad and Lori, I want to know that source material. Is it going to explain everything? No, but it's just another thing to understand. So I've been working on that. They don't talk about the change of Moroni's name. I want to say in the 1930s. Oh, interesting. All right. I will definitely read into that. Under the Banner of Heaven, A Story of Violent Faith. That sounds like a good book. I have also gotten a copy of Fawn Brody's book, No One Knows My History, which is her story of the life of Joseph Smith. And one of the reasons my mother left the Mormon church was because she was reading this book, and her Mormon friends pretty much shunned her just for having read this book. And in my mother's mind, it was like, okay, there's a red flag. I'm out, along with all the other ones. But yeah, so Fawn Brody, has written a lot of interesting things. So that's the one I'm reading through right now. Um, Every religion has good intent when created. The foundation doesn't waver, but there's people that make their own beliefs off of religious coattails. Absolutely. I can't think of a religion that does not have extremist offshoots that took the base theology and went crazy with it. I think every single religion has that. I think that's, just a natural course of events when it comes to having a system of belief and telling people this is what you have to believe, period. Everything else is wrong. You're going to get people taking off with that and spinning it their own way. That just seems like evolution, theologic evolution. Is it good? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I think about religion, or I'm not comfortable saying what I think about religion as a whole. But, Mormon has these crazy people. You got Warren Jeffs, you got Chad and Lori. Christianity certainly has plenty of things like this. And David Koresh, Jim Jones, you can't talk about religion and not have cults, or think any religion is exempt from having cult-like offshoots. So I was not Mormon. I was absolutely shunned in that area. Very different from the Boise area where a lot of Californians have migrated. Interesting. In the court documents filed by Melanie P.'s dad in 1995, it's mentioned that Lori's dad is a schizophrenic and the family isn't suitable to care for Melanie. Yep. I have heard of that. There's a lot. I have not dug into the Cox family history with Barry, and there's, Barry has some criminal things or some tax evasion type things going on, all stuff like that. I'm not digging into that because I think that goes beyond the scope of the case. When we start looking at Lori's psychology, we may have to look at her childhood and her upbringing and her family to understand how she got from birth to crazy sociopathic killer. That's, always a tale. That's one thing we always do. We've looked at Ted Bundy's childhood. We always look at murderers' childhoods. Not that it absolves them of any guilt, but to understand how people get from point A to point B. So we'll probably have to look at that at some point. Your cat was typing on your laptop. Mm-hmm. They do that. She's trying to get a message. Oh, Debbie, thank you very much. That's a kind thing to say. So if Koresh was really Jesus, why did he need glasses? Well, I don't know. Was his Clark Kent Superman disguise? Could be. That could very be. Yeah, is your cat typing? Chad is nuts. Help. Oh, man. All right. Just because I am a sucker for punishment or something, I want to talk about this dismemberment thing. Because this has got me all 6 ways of riled up. And what I should do is get all the documents ready. We look at the affidavit. It describes when they found the remains, right? The word dismemberment is not in there. Now, they say very specific things about when they found Tylee's remains. They found loose bones. They found charred remains. They found charred flesh. It does not look pretty at all. It does not say she was dismembered. It does not say that. If you can find a line in the affidavit that says Tylee Ryan's remains were found and they were dismembered, or Tylee was dismembered, you find that word in that affidavit, I will give you $50 right now. So, okay, it's not in the affidavit. After the affidavit was released, Nate Eaton comes out and says, Tylee was dismembered and burned. And I'm like, oh dear. Okay, Nate. So I contact Nate. I'm like, dude, where are you getting that from? It doesn't say that. And he didn't answer me, of course. He did read my messages, but he did not answer them. And then next thing, a couple hours later, Court TV is saying Tylee was dismembered. And I'm like, oh no. Nancy Grace, Tylee was dismembered. Nate Eaton even goes on Nancy Grace and says Tylee was dismembered pre-mortem. And he has to retract that publicly because that was obviously a very bad thing to say. True or not, we don't know. But he certainly should not have said that. So he publicly retracts that. But now we have a story that came out on Crime Online, which is Nancy Grace's little thing, that says the coroner confirms that Tylee was dismembered. And I'm like, all right, let's go read this. The article doesn't say that at all. The headline says that to get you to click on it. The article says the Ada County Coroner's Office has concluded their preliminary autopsy reports, and now they are waiting on ancillary testing that could take several weeks. That's all it says. That is all it says. Okay? No, nobody confirmed that Tylee was dismembered, but they're singing it like it happened. Now, Nate still says in the latest article on East Idaho News about this that according to recent court documents, Tylee was dismembered. And I'm like, all right, show me those court documents. Are you telling me that Nate Eaton can view court documents that weren't released publicly? No, he can't. No, the press does not get to read sealed court documents. They do not. If that document was released, you know what? I would have a copy of it too. And I don't have a copy of it. There's nothing that's been released from the court involving this case that the word dismembered has ever appeared in. Okay, now, please understand, I am not saying she wasn't dismembered. It's quite likely she was. And certainly you can make a logical inference from the affidavit that this happened. But until it is stated formally and officially, saying that is just a rumor. It just is. And boy, people have been coming for me all week in the comments about this. But if you're going to scream at me in a comment with 45 exclamation points saying Tylee was dismembered in all caps, you better be coming at me with a piece of paper from an official document that says that. Otherwise, do not put that crap on my channel. Okay? We're going to be respectful to the family. We are not going to say stuff like that until it's true. It's not true yet. It's just not. I hate the thought of that happening to Tylee. I'm very terrified that that is actually the case. I don't want to think that. Some of the things that have been said about JJ's remains, I really don't want to think that's true. But when you read the affidavit, it's like, it could be true. It could be. But nobody is. Nobody here in this chat room, nobody watching this video, unless you are a family member, law enforcement, or the coroner, you don't know. It's okay to not know these things. You don't have to go around saying that you know. Do I want to say this? I'm saying it. Scott Reich, I am calling you out, buddy. He said in a event, he really much just read Nate Eaton's report saying, according to court documents, Tylee was dismembered. Does Scott Reich have those court documents? He does not. He's not a member of this case. He cannot see sealed court documents in this case. He's just reporting what Nate reported, which then Court TV reported, which then Nancy Grace reported, which now Scott Rice is reporting. And all of them are saying something that is not verified. And Nate Eaton will not come out and say, you're right, the affidavit doesn't say that. I just inferred. Sorry. You know, now I know I'm saying this right now. I'm going to come to you in a couple weeks and be like, you're right. Tylee was dismembered. You know, and it's going to be terrible. But I'm not saying that's not true or it's not a possibility. I'm just saying we don't know. We just don't know. And anyone who says they do know for sure, if they're not a direct family member who would have been notified about the preliminary hearings, right? So they would know, all right? Law enforcement would know. Attorneys that are actually on the case would know, okay? The courts, the clerk, the judge, they would know. The coroner knows. If you're not one of those people, you don't know. So, that's it. Unless I hear from one of those people who would actually have seen or heard directly from the mouth of the coroner, I'm not going to report that as fact. I'm just not. So come at me, whatever. But yeah. Yeah, Carol, there's a thing about, I've had to think very fast about how I want to approach YouTube and what I want my channel to be. I do not want to be a sensationalistic, gossipy, rumor mongering type channel. Granted, those channels, they get all the views. They really do. I have talked to several people connected to the case, and I'm sure through my wonderful wit and charm, I could convince somebody to come on a live stream with me and talk about the case. Am I going to do that? No, I'm not going to do that. Of course I'm not going to do that. Hold on, I have to cough. And I'm not going to do that because I want to report on the case to you. I don't want to become involved in the case. So, but I will bring you anything that I think is factual. And if I don't think it's factual, like that link to that LDS blog, I will say, I don't know about the source of this, but it's interesting. What do you think? But I'm not bringing it to you as a fact. So I think it's a very dangerous thing. It's a thin tightrope to walk, to report on a case like this. And I will make mistakes. I'm telling you right now, you can yell at me when I get something wrong. I will get things wrong. There's so much information in this case. Just the timeline, I can't keep the timeline straight. There are too many people, too many years have gone by. We're talking the timeline starts in 1995, from Lori's first marriage. I don't even know that guy's name. I read it somewhere. I don't know it's factual. Somebody said that was his name. I have no way to look that up. So facts from 1995 to present day, all swirling around my head with 20 or 30 different players. Yeah, I'm going to make a few mistakes, but I will own them immediately. On any of my videos, if I catch something that was wrong, there will be a pinned comment with the correction. Okay, I promise you, I will always do that. And it's okay to yell at me if I really get something wrong. All right, because I want to be as accurate as possible. So there you go. But if you yell at me in 45 exclamation points that Tylee was dismembered, we'll throw down because I'm not playing that. This is my I am Sparta kind of mood today. Yeah, or this is Sparta, whatever. I see I can't even quote a movie right. Oh, goodness. Anyway. Yeah, I want to bring you, it's like I approach this as everyone here in chat and everyone who watches the videos and everyone in the comments, we're like a big group think tank where we want to understand this case. So my job is whenever I find information, here, look at this, read this link, look at this article, look at this picture. What do you think of this? Here's some documents. Here's the court thing, to bring that to all of you so we can all talk about it together, because together we're going to come up with a lot clearer story than anyone will on their own. So I'm not trying to say what I think is right, deal with it. No, I'm not a detective. I'm not FBI. I don't know these things. But together we can all bring our strengths to the pot and get a lot of really good information. So that's what my point is here. People have asked me that this week. I also had a really funny comment. And this cracked me up. I gotta share it. Where was it? It's on one of my videos. Where'd it go? It's on the video from 624. Right. Someone replied that I don't believe any of this. Is this some movie? All of your newscasts just repeat the same crap over and over. And I don't believe this is real because I haven't seen it on Action News. Like, what? What is happening here? And it was really hard because I wanted to respond to her and be like, I'm sorry that this really is a real case. I'm sorry you haven't seen it on Action News, but try Google. I'm just like, oh, you know, I've been around YouTube for a long time, and I did some work with Paul over the last year, but I've never had to interface with people in the comments before. It's an experience. I'm experiencing things. Whew. Yeah. But yeah, so I promise you, if I think her name was Loretta. What was her name? Florence. Florence. If you're watching this, Florence, hi, it's me, Awen. This really is a real case. So I'm sorry you think all of my newscasts just report the same crap over and over. But Google it. Google Lori Vallow, and you'll see the real case. So thank you for your comment. Have a good day. But yeah, so I've had some fun this week with the comments and getting used to this. I'm not quite used to this, but anyway, yeah, they're probably on Action News themselves getting carted off to the asylum. Well, Andrew, things happen. Bye, Betty Spaghetti. Take care. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Oh man, but yeah, there hasn't been much news this week. There really hasn't. A lot of stuff we're just talking about, other interviews that have come out, the body cam footage with Charles. But yeah, if you want to look into the Charles thing, then follow Annie Cushing. That's the place to go for information on Charles's death. When Annie Cushing digs into something, she digs into something. So she is going to pull that apart, and we will get some information. So yeah. Where's Paul? He should join us. Paul is taking a nap. Paul has had to work because his business has changed because of the COVID situation. He's been pulling 12-hour days from like 4 in the morning to 4 at night, or gets up at 4 and works 5 to 5. That guy is exhausted. Paul is wrecked, so he's sleeping, as he should be. He needs a break. So yeah, that's where Paul is. But he's here in spirit. He gave me a super chat. That was so exciting. Oh man. So yeah, I might call him and wake him up and say thank you. I should. Can I call him on a live stream so that you guys can hear it? That would be funny. Let's call Paul and wake him up. Or if he's listening to this, we should turn it off his phone real quick. Like, no. Yeah. Hi, Paul. Oh man. How in the world did that lady? Yeah, Jess, I don't know. If she's never heard of the case, how she managed to find my coverage of it. I don't. I have no idea how these things work. These are magic. Maybe Chad's portal. Yeah, Annie Cushing's thoughts make you think. Yeah, reading her post really makes me stop and say, huh, I never thought of it that way. I love reading Annie Cushing's work on this. But always remembering that she is a family member, and she's lost her niece and her brother because of Lori Vallow. My goodness. Oh, yeah, I love Annie Cushing. Since we have no new news, let's talk about Mel G and Chad before Lori and Chad's fashion sense. Oh. Yeah, Ewan Reese is not responsible for Action News' lack of Vallow coverage. Maybe I am. Maybe I should call them. I wonder which Action News she's referring to. So, first time here question. Hi, Lindsay Henry. Welcome. Any speculation of poison being brought into Chad and Lori on July 20th? Oh, do you think maybe someone will try to get them some poison in jail so they can take care of themselves? Interesting. We have seen stranger things happen. All right, and historically, yeah, I don't see how that's it's possible. They still have crazy followers, but I don't think Chad and Lori are the types who would kill themselves. I really don't. I could be wrong, but maybe I would say if either of them had a chance to do that more than the other, it would be Chad more than Lori. But I don't see either of them killing themselves. Although, they could end up not with us anymore, and it could be natural causes. How many times have we seen that with this case? So who knows? Straight through the portal. Yep. Oh, let's see. Newsflash, July 23rd, Lori and Chad put their heads in toilets. They're portal potties. They're not toilets. Come on, Andrew. They're going to use the portal potty and try to get out of jail. Yeah, it was almost comical that night that the ID Vine app had that glitch that sent out the alert that Lori had been released from prison. It was funny after when we figured out it was a glitch, but for those few seconds when we're like, what? That was scary. Like, everyone get in your car. We're going to Idaho. This is a Sofa Squad emergency. Let's go. We gotta find her. You know? And then of course the portal jokes ensued. There were many portal jokes. Yeah. Nadine Thomas, hi, nice to see you. Says, I first heard about this following Linda from It's a Crime. That's how I learned about this crazy case. Now I'm addicted. Yep. Yeah, this is one of those cases where you don't casually follow the coverage. Either you are in it to win it, or you're like, yeah, I don't want to hear about that case. It's such a big, the more you look into it, the worse and crazier it gets, you know? And even all of I've done nothing but this case now since June 4th. Nothing but this case. And I still know like half of what I need to know. So, oh, man. It's crazy. Yeah, Sofa Squad emergency. Yep. Yeah, we need to have a text app for the Sofa Squad for if she does get released, so we can just text everyone in the whole group, be like, that's it, go to Idaho. We got a road trip. Gotta go find Lori. Can't let her get away. And Paul said that we should just form a human chain around the state and just all stand there, hands locked, so she can't escape. But, a human chain isn't going to help if she portals out of the state. We got to lock down those portals somehow. Do any of you think that Lori is mentally ill? Absolutely. Absolutely. She has, yeah. I'm not a psychologist. I'm saying that right there. Don't come at me again. But she is not mentally stable. Yeah. And think about this. Anyone that can kill or order their children killed because they believe they're zombies and then go to Hawaii and get married like nothing happened, that's not an emotionally stable person. That's a level of pathology we don't often see, thankfully. We see it far too often in the true crime world, but, at least in daily life, we don't normally see that. Discord can do, yeah, that's a good part. Expert Mara says that if you're all in Discord, when we send out the Sofa Squad emergency alerts, you get them right away. Good thinking. Or WhatsApp group, yep. Yeah, we may have emergency calls, so we may have to do. Liz, I think there's definitely some serious things wrong with her. I will get into that as probably once we get to trial. We'll start looking at her history, her psychology, her family, her upbringing, her belief system, all of that, because that's a tangled web. Not stable, very calculating. She knew it. Yes, she did. She knew exactly. ACM, you're right. She knew what she was doing. She was very sneaky. She was very calculating, very conniving, very manipulative. She was very much aware of what she was doing. So, yeah. Donna just joined Discord. Great. Awesome. Anyone who's just joining Discord, if you have any questions about using it, just yell. Just get in whatever chat channel you find yourself in and type help. I don't know what to do. There's a great team of mods there, and they will help you navigate and learn the program. It's not hard to learn, so don't be intimidated by it. And we're all there to help you figure it out. So just yell for a mod, and they will find you. They're very good about that. And I doubt they'll turn on themselves. Yep, I don't think they will. Yep. Deborah Aries, I agree with you. What else? I would too. This is the main reason of offensive injury. Yeah, Lindsay. The psychology is what draws me to true crime. Paul and I have a extensive podcast series where we go over some true crime stuff, and what we primarily focus on is the psychology, because I think for me and for a lot of people, it's this natural desire to understand why people can do this. So you understand the warning signs, you understand the red flags. So if you were unfortunate to encounter someone that could be a murderer, you would spot it. Not that that's necessarily true, but that's a hope. It's almost a subconscious hope to want to understand it so we see it coming, But at least that's why I'm into true crime. case my husband goes crazy, I'll see it coming. Well, it's probably the other way around. Love you, honey. Stormy's being dense again. Okay. That's news. Get in Discord channel and yell, I need an adult. Yeah, I do that a lot. Especially the last couple days. And just to talk about something that I'm doing on the side. I do have a Patreon channel, and I'm putting up a series of videos there, not about news of this case, but about things that are relative to the case, such as the history of Mormonism, and a post that I found yesterday by one of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, who's one of the actual top dog leaders of the Mormon Church. That very concerned me intensely. So, but that kind of stuff that's very controversial, I'm only putting that on Patreon because, you know, the stuff, the flack that I get for even talking about some of the things we've talked about today is over the top. So if I put something like that on YouTube, it would not be pretty. So I keep that stuff on Patreon, but it's there if you want to have a look at those. There's a video coming up about the history of end time cults, narcissists, cult leaders, and how we get from there to Chad Daybell, because it's a pretty clear line once you break it all down. And it's scary to think that nobody saw this coming, nobody pointed it out, nobody stopped him, nobody stopped Lori. They all just ran with it. And I think shedding light on that is really important because they do have other followers. They do have a large group that they move within, and law enforcement needs to be aware that these people are a little dangerous. 6 people are dead. They're very dangerous. Let's face it. Yeah, we can't sugarcoat this. Whether they killed all 6 or not, we don't know for sure. I think it's a safe assumption, but we don't know factually if they killed all 6 people. But 6 people are dead that were very close to Chad and Lori. I'm not big on coincidences, so Rachel, thank you so much. Thank you for being so respectful of the victims. Thank you. That's a big part of it that I think we have to focus on. So Alistair says the latest Patreon video is illuminating. It's a level of crazy I'm not touching. Yeah, Alistair, I thought I'm not touching this, but I thought, you know what? In for a penny, in for a pound, right? But it really ties into the whole cults thing. How do you get people like Chad with these crazy beliefs from what's a mainstream religion? You know, why does it produce people with these kinds of thought patterns? That's an uncomfortable question to ask and a far much more uncomfortable question to answer, but I think it's really important. But not everyone will want to hear that, so I'll have to keep that. Paula says the trial is going to be so interesting. If it goes to trial, it's probably going to be the new trial of the century. I really think so. I know I will probably be watching it and streaming it live if possible all day, every day, because I'm not going to be able to turn away. So I hope it goes to trial insofar as I want to see and I want all of my questions answered, which will only be answered at trial. Will that happen? I don't know. Do you think Chad and Lori are going to turn up and plead guilty? I don't think so. So I'm betting we're going to see a couple trials. Carol Donaldson, thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. And welcome to the channel. I'm very glad you're here. Yeah, so let's hope it goes to trial. People need to be able to recognize what normal behavior and what isn't, what's dangerous. Yes, I feel we are too naive about it. Lindsay, exactly. Because imagine if Melanie Gibb was a little less naive about dangerous thought patterns, she would have been yelling about this from day one. But because she wasn't, because nobody in their group understood how dangerous this could be, all of these events were allowed to happen. So, Rosie, thank you. Hi, Rosie. Oh, nice to talk to you again. Rosie's one of our newest Patreons, so she's just joined Discord this morning. So good to see you here. But yeah, that's one of the things I talked about yesterday with the video about the warning from the leader of the Mormon Church was, to me, this is dangerous rhetoric that could harm people. It's not logical. It's not science-based. It's not fact-based. It's fear-based. And when you have the leader of a large religious organization coming out with garbage like that, intending to scare people into action that could be very harmful for them, that's a problem. And sure, 90% of my brain said, don't touch that, Awen. Don't be crazy. Do not go there. And I said, you know what? If Melanie Gibb had gone there, JJ and Tylee would be alive. Bottom line. We have to stop pulling the rug over these kinds of uncomfortable things. We really do. And say, you know what? That's wrong. You cannot be the leader of 16 million people in the world and go tell them this crap, because you're going to get people killed. Plain and simple. I don't care if you're the leader of the Mormon Church. I'll call you right out. I don't care who you are. If you're going to spew dangerous stuff like that, we all need to start speaking up a little louder. But yeah, it's a scary thing, because probably putting myself in a situation I don't really want to be in. But I'm not going to be quiet. I can't be quiet. If Melanie hadn't been quiet, those kids would be alive. Charles would be alive. Tammy would be alive. Even Alex would be alive. If she hadn't just said, oh, this is interesting. Zombies are fun. I'll go with it. Nope. And goodness sakes, if any of your friends tell you they think their kids are zombies, please lock your friend in a closet until you get law enforcement to come take those kids or something. We have to go out, because whew, man. Oh, I'm thirsty today. And Jess, my mug from Jess is in the wash. Not in the dishwasher, because you can't put it in the dishwasher, but it's in the sink getting washed. I had to use my old cup today. I'm very sad. I want my Jess cup back. So I'm standing in my truth. We have so much respect for your integrity. Well, thank you, Stormy. My mother would say that I'm being an idiot for saying these things in public. She has said that. She's like, don't think for a second you're going to say something against the Mormon Church and come out of that unscathed. Don't be stupid. Don't talk about that. I'm like, but Mom, it's YouTube. She's like, don't do it. So I may regret that, but at least I did speak my truth. So, Kathy, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. My goodness, guys, thank you. Oh, reminds me of Kelsey Bayless. So many. Yes, Jess, we saw the same thing. What was her name? I've tried to block her from memory. The nurse there. That Patrick Frazee asked her to go kill Kelsey Bayless 4 times, and she attempted to do it 4 times and chickened out each time. You didn't think during any of that to call the police and say, my boyfriend wants me to kill his ex-girlfriend wife thing? Really? That's the kind of stuff that just Crystal Lee Kenny, thank you. Why do people go along with these things? Man, I would admit to my sister to a mental hospital, start talking about stuff. Yep, Rebel Rose, so would I. If anyone that I knew told me they really believed the whole zombie thing and then they had to be killed to save their spirit, and oh, by the way, my kid's a zombie, I would take action, even if that action meant, physically getting the children away from them until law enforcement could intervene, or something like that. I would not just sit still and be like, oh, that's interesting. Not sure I agree with that, but that's interesting. Like Melanie Gibb did. No, not for a second. Of course, Melanie Gibb says that was her reaction. I tend to believe that Melanie Gibb agreed with it 100%. Melanie Gibb has a book called Feel the Fire. All right, this is about her big life-altering come-to-Jesus moment from about 10 years ago. This is her book, Feel the Fire. She also has a podcast where she's talking about Feel the Fire, and they talk about baptism by fire. And that podcast was put out shortly after Tylee's death. So, yeah, Melanie Gibb is, in my mind, no different than Lori. So, that may be a bit of conjecture, but that's fine. This is our casual chat. Remember, casual chat stream is for theorizing. Don't come at me. But, it's hard to get someone committed to suicide. Yes, it is very hard, as it should be. Diana, we don't want people just, arbitrarily get committed to psych wards, but sometimes people need a really good evaluation. And whatever they tested Lori with, that didn't work, clearly. So, blood atonement was LDA. Yeah, that's no longer taught. And most Mormons you talk to will not even own up to the whole blood atonement thing. but that was part of the church long ago. I'm aware of that. And that's even, no, never mind, I'm not going there. Not going there. I'll get yelled at. Baptism by fire is why they burned Tylee. Rebel Rose, that's the conversation going around about that. Yep. Melanie Gibb, a straight-haired version of Lori. Yeah. Yep. I agree. If she would have reported Lori, they would still be alive. Yep. Everyone heard Charles. They thought he was crazy, but he said it's true. Agree with every. Oh, thanks, Kathy. Thank you for being here. This says, I feel like Lori ran things by Melanie Gibb. It seems that way. It's from the things Melanie says that Lori told Melanie everything, but Melanie didn't seem to. What she say herself? Well, I didn't put up a lot of opposition to it. Like maybe if she had, Let's hope the police will gather enough evidence on the two Melanies that will stick and they can be charged. Yeah, I have no idea what they could possibly be charged with. Melanie Gibb might have an immunity thing set in place. We don't know. She says she doesn't have a lawyer. I have a hard time believing that because she would have to be pretty darn stupid to not have a lawyer right now. So who knows what's going on with that. But I don't know if they can charge them with any sort of thing. But if they can, they need to be. Yeah, I wish you could charge people with stupidity because then we'd have a life sentence right there. Sorted. But, oh, man. She kept saying, yeah, that was different. That was different. Yeah. Obstruction, at least. Yeah, Lisa. She, when she was avoiding police when they were looking for her, that's obstruction. She was knowingly avoiding the police. Maybe they could get her on that. She probably has a PR agent. Would not be surprised. And you know what, Rosie? Her PR agent might even be Eric Smith, who is Julie Rose's agent. Wouldn't that be interesting? Maybe it's Jason Mow. Jason Mow seems to have taken quite the fancy to Melanie Gibb, if you listen to their podcasts and stuff. So I don't think Jason Mow's out of the picture at all either. So who knows? But I really hope law enforcement's looking at all of that. There's no way she would want to stick her neck out with legal advice. Yeah. That is true. Who thinks Melanie Gibb will be charged? I hope she can be charged with something. I'm not sure what the charge could be. Maybe obstruction of justice, accessory. I don't know about that, but it depends what happened that night. Remember, Melanie Gibb was in the home with Lori the night that JJ was killed or disappeared or whatever happened. We don't know. But Melanie Gibb was in that house with David Warwick, with Lori, with JJ and Alex. Alex was, back and forth to his apartment, but she was there. So you really think she doesn't know? You really think Alex Cox came in the middle of the night, secreted JJ away, killed him, and she had no idea? She believed that? Yeah, I don't think so. Mm-mm. Where's the link? Kat, where's the link to what? Let me know what you're looking for. I will get it for you. Assuming you mean a link to a website or something, or not just the link to Lori. I don't know. Sorry, I haven't been paying attention to chat. I'm bad. She said she didn't have a lawyer prior to finding the kids. She said the same. I don't remember if she specified later on, but she did say at one point in her interview with Nate that she did not have a lawyer. She said, what do I need a lawyer for? God is on my side. I'm telling the truth. I'm like, ooh, there's naive and then there's just dumb. Even if you're innocent, the first thing you do is get an attorney, for crying out loud. Well, she and David Warwick. Now, David Warwick, he's another one. He's in this preparing a people thing. He's got the books. He's good on the talks. I have a screenshot from the Avow website where he was giving a talk in, I think, June of 2019, around there, like with all of them. And, he's not, he's all of that. Did Melanie stay in the house or did she stay in a hotel? I believe that they stayed there in the house, her and David. I don't know if there's actual confirmation of that, but that is what I've come to believe. But thank you for calling that out. I'm not entirely sure. I believe that David and Melanie were in the house. So they were certainly in the house that evening because they wanted to record a podcast, which is why Alex took JJ earlier in the evening. so they could record their podcast. And then David Warwick says they were there when Alex brought JJ back, and it appeared to him that JJ was sleeping in Alex's arms when he carried him back in. Make of that what you will. Then the next morning, David said, we woke up and I asked Lori where JJ was. So that really seems to imply that they were staying in the house. But again, I don't have actual confirmation of that, but just what it sounds like. Where did Melanie, Gibb, and David sleep? Presumably in Tylee's bed. Oh, Karen, I don't even want to think that. Yikes. Oh, can you imagine? And that's one question. How can Melanie Gibb live with herself? How can she go on TV and sit there and make pretty faces and smell grapes and sit like this in the sun? How can she live with herself? I would be so overcome with grief. I don't know how I would get through it. I really don't. But yeah. Anyway, but I think that's pretty much all we have to talk about. They have gotten married in Las Vegas from the temple. I'm not sure who. Do you mean Melanie and David? I don't know if Melanie Gibb might still be a member in good standing of the church. David might be. Certainly Chad was not. Also, that article I linked you way earlier about Julie Rose says she was excommunicated. So there's that to think about. Not sure how true that is, but what it says. So, I think. See, there's you can't just go to the Mormon website and look up who's been excommunicated and who are members. I wish you could, but I believe Melanie and David are probably members in good standing, so they could have had temple recommends and get married. I don't know. Should the Mormon Church hold a virtual memorial service for Tylee and JD? James Owens, I don't think so. I think the Mormon Church should just zip it and go away, because I don't think that's a good idea. I don't. I would like to see the family do that. But can you be married in temple if you are divorced? Jess, I don't know. The doctrine and the actual practices, I think, are a little different. I don't know nowadays if you can be divorced and still get married in temple. I don't know I know that if you get sealed to one spouse, you can ask for that sealing to be undone if you want to get sealed to another spouse. So that seems to infer that you can, Carol friggin' Baskin joins the church. The gang's all here. I'm gonna say Melanie Gibb is the new Carol Baskin. Yep. Carol Baskin is a character from the Tiger King Netflix series, which if you haven't seen it, and you need to, take a brain vacation, go watch Tiger King. It's quite a thing. You're not going to learn much from it and come away a smarter, more fuller life, but it's a good way to waste a few hours. Oof. Yeah, Tiger King. I liked it. Free Joe Exotic. Oh, goodness. Take care, Rebel Rose. I will talk to you soon. And now that you're in Discord, we can talk a lot more. So great. Thank you for joining. Hi, Linda. How are you doing? I hope you're doing good. I've been thinking about you a lot the last couple days. There's a lot going on, man. But yeah, Tiger King is fun. We need to do a Tiger King review. Yeah, that'd be a thing. All right, but I have been on here for a long time now. So it's time for me to go have some lunch. Find some keto food. There will be an update coming soon for Mindful and Fit. Those of you who are following my weight loss journey, I know I've been remiss in making videos because I have been so bogged down with this case right now, but I will try to get an update out soon. So we got to talk about keto. But thank you all for being here. Thank you for all the super chats. That was amazing. I don't know, I'm mind blown with how much support you guys have given me, and I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I really, really do. So thank you for being here. Don't forget you can join us on Discord, where you can talk to me all day long. And we've got Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. All the links are in the description below. Linda K. Listening is in the channel. Please give her channel a look-see. She's starting to cover the Daniel Holtz law case, which is a whole nother very interesting deep dive. So check her out there. And I will talk to you all soon. Have a wonderful Sunday. Take care. And remember to hit the notification bell, not because every YouTuber is supposed to say that, but because if anything breaks in the case, I will go live right away. I won't wait to put up a video. So that way you won't miss it if anything happens. And there you go. So thank you all. I really appreciate it. And I will talk to you soon. And again, I have to remember how to turn this off because I don't know. End broadcast. You think that does it? I'm going to end the broadcast. Bye.